right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Fireside three-card Oracle reading for the week of Monday, October 30th through Sunday, November 5th, 2023. But as always, whenever you're seeing this video, whether it's live or replay, wherever place, right? Whether it's Facebook or YouTube, wherever that might be, this is the exact message that your angels, deceased loved ones, and master teachers, that just came through, have for you. They already showed me card number one. It's like I don't even have the words out before we've already got jumper cards coming out. How cool is that? And so my name is Heather Coleman. I am an intuitive medium, telepathic, meaning I can hear deceased loved ones, speak to them mind to mind, hear what they have to say, ask them questions. And I read auras. This question comes up a lot. Directed to me, as you might imagine, but just in general, how do these things work? There are so many different forms of psychic gifts and gifts that can be developed. I find that most people tend to naturally be very strong in certain areas and develop those areas. And it's unique to the person. It's unique to the person. So interesting. There's a whole cluster of cards stuck together. And sometimes when that happens, it's so that I can read the energy. So what I'm sensing from this is a feeling of it's time to let go, but we're not quite ready. But you are ready. So whoever needs to hear this message is just coming through before I even show you the cards. If you are sort of clinging to things because you're not sure whether you're going to be supported in something, jump into the deep end of the pool. That's your message. You're going to be supported. You're going to be able to do it. And now that I delivered you that message, the right card is standing out very strongly. In fact, this is card number one right here. This is card number two. And finally, here's card number three. And so that here is for you to tune into your own intuition. And just a moment ago, we touched on how that's, I don't think any two psychic mediums are the same. I don't think any of us are made exactly like anyone else. So I'm going to be showing you the cards again in just a second, but I encourage you, before we do, to be open to any form of communication with your higher self, your intuition, to tell which one or ones might really speak to you. That could come in the form of a sensation, maybe a warm feeling somewhere in your body. Maybe you visually are drawn. Like sometimes I will see sort of an imaginary beam of light around the card that is right. And interestingly enough, that happens when I do playing cards too, not just oracle cards. But there are just so many myriad ways that your intuition will speak to you if you open and just believe and breathe into it. So let's do that again. And I just encourage you to watch for any signs from your higher self, your intuition, of which card or cards might be for you. So once again, card number one, card number one, card number two, and finally card number three. So the deck, Ask Your Guides, author Sonia Choquette. Let's get right into card number one. The title of this card is Epiphany. I'm drawn to tell you the number on it. It's 18. I don't know how well you can see that, but fascinatingly about this, I'm looking at this, and what I'm drawn to is the idea here that 8 is a very balanced number. And to add 1 and 8 together, you get the 9. Now, if we were in tarot, the Nine of Pentacles is a card that, when it's upright, which it would be, indicates personal satisfaction, fulfillment, successful self-employment, and such and what have you. I love the messages this week. They are so positive. This week there are no difficult messages. Source, a spirit, always gets those out of the way with the first and some of the second card. This week there's none. This is one of the most powerful, optimistic readings I've delivered in a long time. So when we look at this, the title of the card is Epiphany. Card number one, people, this indicates that sometime, let's say this week or this month, whenever you're hearing this, so the week that we're in now and the month that we're in now, whenever you're hearing this, this card indicates that either right now as we speak or in the very, very near future, again, a week to a month, it's as if you're having this epiphany that, wait a minute, everything is in place for me. The angels drew my attention to the fact that 1 and 8 equal 9. And again, when they mentioned and had me say to you, Tarot, 9 of Pentacles specifically, that card, how did I know? Well, they said it. But also, all this green indicates earth and money. So, what I'm really sensing on this card, if you're drawn to this is card number 1, is you kind of realizing that you do have all the money you need. I'll share a quick example of the sort of epiphany that can come with this kind of message. I just bought a car. I have never in the past applied for a car loan as a single person. For whatever reason, didn't think that I'd get it. And I don't know why. I just didn't, just because of the cost of everything is going up, that kind of thing. I thought, oh no, not a problem. I was approved for a loan and I bought a car. And for me, that was the epiphany that I do make enough money. I have enough money. I can get anything I really want and need. And I did. So, something similar, card number 1, people. Maybe it is a car. Maybe you're having that experience. Maybe it's something else. It could be something bigger like a house, a boat, or something else that you have been wanting to do. And maybe right up until recently, you did not feel that you had the resources, but it turns out, surprise, epiphany, you do have all the resources that you need. This was like an aha moment for me. The raccoons kept coming through. Raccoons, card number 1, people, have you been seeing raccoons? Because I have. Raccoons, among other things, encourage you to be resourceful, to draw on your resources, and to open your eyes to all the resources that you do have around you and that you are resourceful. So card number 1, people, this indicates that it's just dawning on you that you have everything you need. You can do whatever you truly want and need to do. So well done you and congratulations to you. I love the reading for this week. One of the reasons the energy is so high vibration and calm, we did just come out of eclipse season. It's an interesting celestial time. Touching on a little bit of astrology, I'm an armchair astrologer, if you've ever heard that term. We have had a whole bunch of planets retrograde right around the same time during 2023. Couple of them, big ones, just went direct. That's where we have this sort of ending to delays and lethargic energy. We have only 2 that will be direct by early January, which is going to fly. So we have this ending to delays, but a little bit of you can almost call it like a little bumpiness with the motor starting. If you've ever seen a lawnmower, you have to kind of pull it a few times. That's what the eclipses did, so that we didn't have to do that so much. We didn't have to pull that lawnmower as much. The universe kind of did it for us because right around the 14th, we had that solar eclipse. And then about 2 weeks, we have this lunar eclipse with a full moon, with a hunter's moon. It's a lot. And that's why life has been very topsy-turvy. I've seen a lot of these memes, and if you'd like to check out one of them, it's right on my page. It talks about how this could make us feel kind of like we're going crazy, like, oh, anxiety. For me, it's always anxiety that I haven't had is really coming up. I'm questioning myself, right? We are questioning our decisions more than we normally do, and feeling kind of stuck making decisions. Well, that's sort of because we are being catapulted into action with the ending to all these retrograde positions, among other things. But again, it would have been rougher if it weren't for those 2 eclipses. Now, getting to how this all applies, one, the epiphany that a lot of you are experiencing has to do with how those eclipses have just peeled back the layers, kind of forced action to happen, and you've flown with it. You've thrived. You've been flapping your wings. It's kind of like another way I like to interpret the Tower, and that's going to come up with card number 2, but bear with me before we do. The Tower card in tarot, whether it's upright or reverse for that matter, often will indicate a sudden collapse of an existing structure in our lives. And for me, that was my car of 11 years getting totaled when another driver hit me. Well, accidentally hit me. Well, the tower would be likened to like the universe almost sort of catapulting you out of the top window of that tower, but you don't fall and get hurt. You have wings. You forgot you had wings. You start flapping the darn things, and you're great. You're good. So that's sort of metaphorically speaking, that's kind of what these eclipses have done for us. And yeah, it's rough, but if you think about if you were in that tower and you had lulling music, you had really calm music, it was warm, everything that would make you sleepy and just a little slow, whatever it takes that would make you just kind of move slow, take life slow, sleep a lot. Then all of a sudden you're thrown out. Well, that would be rougher. No, instead you were sort of given a little start to your motor a couple times before you were able to fly out. So, with all that in mind, let's take a look at card number 2. We've got Life Force with Aphrodite. And you know what I cannot believe here? Because it's not a coincidence. We've got 45, 4 and 5 add up to 9. So again, we have this energy of everything we need on a personal level. All of our personal needs are met. So again, we have this theme repeating, card number 2 people, that you're starting to realize that all of your needs really are met. And the experience that your needs weren't being met, turns out it was a darn illusion all along. Haha, life force. Let's talk about this. Okay, so this concept recently that has been coming across my attention is this idea that we are all an extension of source love or an offshoot of source love, infinite love, right? Relationships with other people remind us of the love that is already inside of us. So it's always all self love. Pretty nifty. So if we're feeling unloved, our work is to go inward and tap into that in the heart chakra. That's where it's located, that connection to deep, infinite source love. That is also the center for life force energy. Life force energy. So card number 2, people, this is a big message, so just bear with it. If you've been feeling low in energy, and a lot of us have, remember, it's not just you, it's these crazy planets. If you've been feeling low on energy, like it's hard to get up in the mornings, you do it anyway, but it's tough to get up. If you've been feeling low on love in your life, you have learned successfully that fire, look at this fiery imagery here, of self-love resides within your heart. You have been doing very successfully the work on finding that. When you find that from within, it starts to appear around you in your outside experience. But you know what? It's not happening because your outside circumstances changed. It's because you evolved. Heck yeah, congratulations. Good job. It's because you give yourself credit, have been doing the work to heal your heart, to heal your wounds, your childhood traumas, you name it, you've been doing it. Whatever it is you're doing, God, it can be any of these things. Meditation, therapy, seeking out healthier relationships, spending more time with people who nourish you, that you feel safe with. Fill in the blanks, okay? Whatever you've been doing, well done. Celebrate yourself. And just know that the work you've been doing to heal your heart will increase your energy and your zest for life tenfold. So that life force energy. Aphrodite comes up here. So if you're feeling that, then fantastic. But the angels are saying, card number 2, people, just notice whoever on the other side really speaks to you. Maybe it's an archangel, maybe it's a deceased loved one when you connect with this card. Okay, so very, very powerful message. So we can expect, and this transition message between cards that I'm about to deliver for you is not just for card number 2, people, but the collective. We can expect to have a lot more energy into the vernal equinox. Okay, isn't that spring? Because they're saying vernal. Okay. Or that's winter. Well, okay, I'm just going to say it. The winter solstice as well. But it's interesting that they had me say vernal equinox first. But however, Maybe that's okay because that's the biggest one. They had me say that first because we can all expect to have so much energy the beginning of spring 2024, but we can expect a lot less of a dip in our own daily energy going into this winter and more motivation. With that message about motivation, card number 3, self control with the higher self. I love cards like this because this is one of my areas of specialty as a medium delivering these types of messages and just in life in general. So I love it when something like this comes up. Well, whenever we're talking about self control, we're talking about three main things. We're talking about self awareness, self discipline. Hold on. Self awareness, self discipline, and self love. Those are the three things. So, self awareness, discipline, and self love. Those are the three components of self control. So, card number 3, people. It's interesting what they're saying. Again, this message that most of the calendar year 2023, especially around fall, was a lower energy time for a lot of people. It's not that you were lacking in self-control. Remember those three tenets: self-awareness, discipline, and love. It's not that you were lacking in those things. There are so many energetic factors causing this, but cut yourself a break if you had a tougher year in terms of you needed to sleep more. If you're prone to depression, maybe your depression was really heavy. Just chalk that up to the universal energies, because if you were doing all the right things, practicing your self-care, if you take medications, wonderful for you. If for your mental health, you were doing that right, or maybe you found the right ones. Maybe you started exercising. You were doing everything right. What's going to be really cool this year, we're going to keep doing everything right, and the results are going to be even better because you already have that self-control. You have already developed that mental muscle. I love that word, that self-discipline is a mental muscle. Continue to do that, but just again, self-awareness, self-discipline, and self-love. The order of that doesn't matter, but just know that we have ultimate self-control and self-discipline when we have a high level of self-love. In other words, it's through encouraging yourself, through celebrating yourself, and through treating yourself with love and respect that you're going to have all of that. People somehow get this idea that you have to be so tough on yourself and flagellate. I hear this all the time: punish yourself. It's backward. You need to reward yourself for what you're doing right to bring out more of what you want in yourself, right? So focus on what you want to develop more of. I'm going to be doing a video later this week touching on all of this. And I'll just mention that now for those of you that are going to want to kind of put this on your radar. I'm going to put that video on Friday. So it's going to happen Friday, November, I think it's 3rd. Yeah, I think that's the 3rd. What we're going to talk about are two things that come up. And again, it's right along the line with this message of self-control and those three tenets of awareness, self-awareness, discipline, and love. We hear so often in these metaphysical and spiritual circles that other people are a mirror for us. And so difficult relationships, we hear this all the time. Oh, these people and these toxic relationships are a mirror. We've got to heal this. We've got to blah, 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 blah. Personally, I'm getting tired of all that. And I'm just going to say why. It's all great, don't get me wrong, but how often do we apply this mirror concept to all of the great things? So maybe it's time that we start focusing on, when we have a positive experience, what is that mirroring back that's already working within us? Not just the stuff we need to heal. We're going to talk about that. The other thing we're going to talk about is, that being part of self-love. So the more positive aspect to people mirroring us. And the other topic is going to be a surprise because they're not letting me tell you what it is. I had it and then I forgot it, but this is how it is when you trust Source implicitly like I do. I let them remove things from my mind and put things darn back in. Spirit guides will do that for you. Final message. Guys, older people, some as they age, seem to be losing their mind in dementia. Have you ever sat down and thought that maybe there's a reason that the mind is slowly starting to live here and on the other side and it's nothing to worry about? Because a lot of that stuff happens to me now, and I'm middle aged and I'm stronger mentally than I ever was. It's because I trust Source. It's because I trust that if my higher self, hi there, higher self, removes something from my mind, I don't need it that much to begin with. And if you just let go, last tip, if that happens, like you forget something and you're like, oh my gosh, rather than get upset or worried about it, just open your mind. It'll come back when it's ready, and it's going to come back faster. You're going to remember faster, right? So just working with your system. So, all right, guys, with all that in mind, that was a very powerful set of messages. If you love those cards, you can still get this deck. I think Hay House has it. Ask Your Guide, Sonia Choquette. Have a blessed week. Happy Halloween. I am a leopard. Have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable Halloween, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.